All right, last June, Mavi Nada, a biological man who now identifies as a woman, vandalized a Catholic church in Bellevue, Washington, in a fit of rage following the overturn of Roe v. Wade. Now, Nada admitted to defacing the church with profane graffiti, destroying a statue of the Virgin Mary, even assaulting a worker there at the church, and resisting arrest. In response to all of that, the Biden administration has now offered a plea agreement calling for only probation, no jail time whatsoever. Now, as we just heard from Congressman Bishop, this stands in stark contrast with the administration's effort to imprison Mark Houck, who is a pro-life activist. Mark Houck was defending his 11-year-old son, protecting him from a pro-abortion activist. And yet the administration went after him for 11 years prison term, they sought. Now, I've discussed on this program the fear that we are watching of a two-tiered system of justice under the Biden administration. And this week's events, quite frankly, show that this administration justice is anything but blind. Well, joining me now to discuss this and go further in this conversation is Mike Davis. He's the founder of the Article 3 Project. He spent nearly 10 years as a civil litigator in Denver, working at one of the world's largest law firms in the world, and also he had a top-ranked law firm there in Colorado. He has also served in all three branches of our federal government, and we welcome Mike back to the program. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me, Congressman.
All right, well, let's talk about this. These two cases. Let's just start with the two between Mark Houck and Mavi Nada. Are we talking two federal cases here?
They're definitely two federal cases, and it's the tale of two different systems of justice under the Biden Justice Department. Back on October 13th, 2021, Mark Houck was protecting his son from being attacked while they were praying outside of a Pennsylvania abortion clinic. And there was a scuffle when this Mark Houck was protecting his son, and the Biden Justice Department, through the Civil Rights Division, the political appointees in the Civil Rights Division of the Biden Justice Department, sought felony charges against Mark Houck, sought up to 11 years in prison against Mark Houck. This went to trial, and Mark Houck was acquitted. Back in June 28, 2022, this Mavi Nada was out in the Bellevue, Washington area near Seattle. And this Nada is a deranged trans terrorist who clearly caused tens of thousands of dollars to a Catholic church, including spray painting and desecrating a statue in the church, assaulted the Catholic church worker, assaulted the police, and terrorized a little old lady praying inside of the church. It was pretty egregious. If you look at the video and the police report and even the plea document from the Biden Justice Department. So you have Mark Houck, the Biden Justice Department sought 11 years. With this Nada, this trans terrorist, the Biden Justice Department, first of all, didn't charge Nada for like 8 or 9 months. And when the Justice Department finally charged Nada, they charged Nada with a misdemeanor, not a felony. And they recommended, as part of the plea agreement to this judge out in the Western District of Washington in the federal court, zero jail time. And the sentencing hearing is coming up in June. So we'll see how this federal magistrate judge takes this sentencing recommendation. But it is disgusting that the Biden Justice Department tried to throw a father in jail for protecting his son, praying outside of an abortion clinic for 11 years, and zero jail time for this trans terrorist.
Yeah, it's just absolutely disturbing. And in addition to this, I'm sure people will remember it if we bring this up right now. But Houck, I mean, there was like 15 or 20 FBI agents, heavily armed, that came to his house, raided his home in front of his wife and children, and hauled him off. What an unbelievable contrast between that and what we're seeing with this individual who is getting zero jail time. This is to me, Mike, a part of a much larger issue in our country and a much more frightening issue that we are watching unfold And that is a two-tiered, seemingly a two-tiered system of justice in this country. Is that, in your opinion, really what we're watching right now?
Absolutely. This is not our parents' or grandparents' Democrat Party. These are not liberals who love America and just disagree with conservatives on the best way to get there. These are leftists. They're Marxist. They hate America. They hate equality. They believe in equity. They hate free speech. They believe in censorship. They hate due process. They believe in Me Too and politicized and weaponized justice systems. And we've seen this repeatedly from Attorney General Merrick Garland to Soros-funded prosecutors around the country, including Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. They have weaponized our justice system. So they're going to go after Trump. They're going to go after Trump's top aides. They're going to go after Trump supporters. They're going to go after Christians praying outside of abortion clinics. They're going to go after parents protesting at school board meetings because they don't believe in the trans ideology that the leftists are pushing on school kids. At the same time, they're going to give amnesty to Biden and the Biden crime family, his sleazeball son Hunter, his scummy brother James, Biden's supporters, George Soros, Antifa, BLM, Planned Parenthood, and the abortion industry. We cannot continue down this path, Congressman. And I'll tell you, the only way we're going to stop this, and I know this doesn't sound right to many conservatives, is for Republican state attorneys general, Republican DAs, Republican prosecutors to get creative, find real crimes, and give Democrats a healthy dose of their own medicine.
Well, listen, our time is running out. I wish we had more time to go further into this because this is a frightening issue, but something that we must stay on top of, publicize, and keep putting pressure on. What do you say to the American citizen, the patriot sitting out there who hears this and questions if they're, what are they supposed to do with all of this if they become a target of praying in public or marching for life? 15 seconds, all I've got, but quick answer.
Remember, it's a republic if we can keep it. We have to be active and engaged. We have to get out and vote. Elections matter, judges matter, and we're seeing that in stark contrast with the Biden administration, the weaponized Biden Justice Department. People need to be engaged and vote.
Mike Davis, thank you so much for all you do. We appreciate it, and thank you for joining us this evening on Washington Watch.
Thank you for having me, Congressman.